Right now, my emergency fund is being rebuilt from zero. Not a low emergency fund, not a need to work emergency fund, actually starting from zero. Let me ask you a question. If your income sources disappear tomorrow, not forever, but just for a little while with no warning, what would actually happen to your finances? I want you to sit with that for a second because most people don't actually know. I didn't either until I had to find out the hard way. But here's the story part that actually matters. For a while, I had a full year emergency fund. And almost 4 years ago, I was put in a situation where I had to live off my emergency fund for 7 months while trying to figure out life with no steady income coming in. And I never got the chance to actually recoup that money back into my savings. Life just kept moving on. Other things came up, months turned into years, and that fund I used almost 4 years ago never got rebuilt. So when I made the decision this past December to leave a situation without a job lined up, I wasn't starting from a low emergency fund. I left everything and I started from zero because it had already been at zero emotionally and mentally for me. I just had not been forced yet to face it. So leaving the situation is what made it very real. And I'll be honest with you, this is not a story that will end with a bow at the end. It's not over yet. Today, right now, while I'm making this video, I still don't have a stable income. What I have is enough coming in to cover what is due, and a lot of effort, daily effort, going into cutting whatever I can so that enough actually stretches far enough and getting creative with my savings whenever I can. So no, this video is not going to be about how I fixed it and fully break it down a solution for you. This is a video about how you can rebuild your emergency fund while you're still having the emergency. Because chances are, if you are watching this video, you are in it too and probably seeking information. But here's the first thing I want you to know. I didn't build some brand new system in order for me to start rebuilding my emergency fund. I already had a budgeting system, a system that I had built years ago, back when I was climbing out of debt. So when this new chapter of my life hit, with no stable income, no savings to lean on, I didn't reinvent everything. I just kept using the same tools I built for myself because I knew they worked. And this is the part that actually matters right now. The financial system is the reason why I was able to make the decision to leave in the first place. Not because I had it all figured out financially, but because I trusted that whatever happened after, I knew how to rebuild it because I had already done so. That was my first lesson, if you want to call it that. You don't need a different system for every version of hard life that comes at you. It could be a job lost. It could be a breakup. It could be a medical bill, whatever it is for you. But what you need is your own system to start rebuilding yourself. This could be a budgeting system you actually trust enough to reach for over and over again, no matter what phase of life or situation you are in. So what does rebuilding actually look like when your income is not steady? Most people's instinct is to wait. Wait until things calm down, then you start budgeting. Wait for a real paycheck, then you start saving. Makes sense on the surface, right? But here's the problem. Irregular income doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It just keeps happening. Life will always challenge you in one way or another. And waiting for stability before you start managing your money is how people stay stuck for way longer than they need to. What actually works is smaller steps than you think. Like instead of thinking in a month, you shrink that window down to days. So you stop asking, what is going to be my budget for the month? And you start asking, what has to move by Thursday? That's it. That is the calendar method that I use. I stripped it down to the most basic form. After listing all my responsibilities, then asking what is coming up in a short period of time that needs to be handled. I try to stick with short term to handle issues that are pressing. Nothing complicated. Just try to keep it consistent from day to day and then week to week. Is it always perfect? No. But you learn to adjust in a short term instead of worrying about a month ahead. The next thing that I do is what I call the audit. And I want you to really hear this one because when money is tight, everything is going to feel urgent. Every bill is going to feel like it has to be paid today, this second, or the world is going to end. There's really a difference between what's actually fixed that needs to be covered right away, things like your rent, your minimum payment to protect your credit, and what only feels urgent, but it's actually flexible. Those are the things like your subscription, the extra categories you added when things were easier, stuff with wiggle room, even if your brain is telling you there isn't any. I used to do this too. And then one day I sat down and looked at every single thing leaving my account. And then I asked myself, does this need to exist right now at this moment? It's not going to be a forever remove, just right now while things are unstable. Some things got paused, some got renegotiated, and others just got canceled. And no, this is not a failure. That's literally the point of a survival budget. It's supposed to be just temporary. It's supposed to flex when you need it the most. Now, here's where a lot of financial gurus will tell you to start. They'll tell you, go get a side hustle. And honestly, there is nothing wrong with a side hustle. If you got the hours and the energy for it, go for it. It works. But I want to say something that doesn't get said enough. A side hustle isn't always realistic for everyone. Like myself and many of you, I am a mom. My hours are already spoken for before I think about picking up any extra work. And I know I'm not the only one in that position. Sometimes there just isn't a spare hour hiding somewhere during the day. So don't let anyone make you feel behind for not chasing a new income stream on top of everything else you already have carrying it. That's not laziness. That's just the math not adding up. Piling more onto an already unstable situation can burn you out faster than it's going to help you. And burnout does not pay the bills either way. So what am I doing instead? For right now, I'm cutting expenses. I'm doing it hard. Not because it's an exciting answer, but because it's the one actually available to me at this point in my life. And that is allowed to change later. But right now, this is what I can actually control. You need to do what is realistic for where you are at the moment. Do a side hustle if you have the room for it. Start cutting back hard if you don't. Both are valid ways to handle it. Neither one will make you fall behind. So how do you actually build a buffer when there is nothing extra to put towards it? And I'm going to share with you the techniques that I've been using, the ways that I've been saving. This is the part that a lot of people will skip because it's going to feel small, and small things still matters. But I can assure you it is not small. Here's exactly what I'm doing right now. This may be a little unconventional, but it's what works for me at this moment. So for the expenses that I already have to pay every single month, the ones that are already happening one way or another, I charge it to my credit card so I can earn cash back. But I am cautious to only charge the expenses that does not incur fees, because there are some vendors that will charge you additional fees for using credit card versus paying from your bank account. Let me make this clear that this does not mean I'm spending more money. I'm just redirecting my money I was already going to spend so I can earn cash back. And the cash back that the credit card earns, that doesn't get treated like free money to blow on something fun. It goes straight into my high yield savings account automatically. Every time, every single transaction that I earn cash back goes into my high yield savings account. And that transaction on my credit card gets paid in full as soon as it's posted, or sometimes before the end of the week. Then I also do a roundup of my change. So every purchase I make, I round it up to the next dollar. It doesn't matter if I'm paying cash or if I'm paying with a credit card. I've created a spreadsheet to help me keep track of everything. It doesn't matter what the purchase is. It could be coffee, it could be gas, it could be groceries, anything. That little bit of a spare change gets calculated and put it into my savings. I let it build up and move it over weekly, or sometimes I'll do it every 15 days, depending on how my finances are going for the week. And I'll be honest with you, some weeks that's basically pennies. Other weeks, it's a few dollars. It's not consistent, and it's not supposed to be. But that's the whole point of a micro savings technique. You're not waiting to have a big chunk of money to move all at once. You're letting tiny amounts stack up in the background while one day you look and it's actually something bigger. It may seem small to move a few cents here and there, but those cents adds up and you will be surprised how fast you can accumulate the change. And the last thing I want to mention is about where the money actually sits, because that is very important too. My savings goes into a high yield savings account, not a regular savings account. So while the savings is building back up, it's simultaneously also earning interest. And that interest gets left in the account to keep growing the fund even further. I'm not doing anything extra. I'm just not leaving free money on the table while I rebuild. But let me be super clear with you, because none of this is fast and it will not magically grow like a beanstalk. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is going to grow fast, but I can assure you that small amounts will grow into bigger balances. And I want to be honest about something else too. This is not a passive income happening in the background without me intentionally doing it. It's a decision I make every single week on purpose, moving that money over, checking on the cash back, watching the account. That's me choosing to do it so I can actually rebuild. And that's actually why it works for me, because every time I move it, I see the actual number. I watch it grow, even if it's just by a few dollars. That's what keeps me going. It's not motivation that shows up out of nowhere. It's motivation I build for myself, one small transfer at a time. Watching it grow makes me want to keep doing it. So it's not about finding some hands-off system that automatically saves you money. It's about small, repeatable decisions you make on purpose again and again until it turns into a habit or a challenge you don't want to break. And that ties into the starter emergency fund, because you don't need some huge emergency fund number right now. That may not be realistic while you're still figuring out life day to day. You need a small one you can focus on, even if it's just $500. Whatever the amount is for you, it should be small enough that just one surprise expense doesn't send you back to zero. It's not really about the amount. It's about proving to yourself you can hold on to money even in an unstable season. That's a different skill than saving when life is easy. And it's the one actually getting tested right now. So I'm not going to wrap this up with a neat ending because I don't have one yet. I'm still in the trenches of it, still tracking every dollar the second it lands, still cutting what I can, still sitting down and moving that around that money and that cash back over myself. And on purpose, watching it grow a little at a time. Still using the same system I built years ago for a completely different kind of hard. But here's what I do know. The system doesn't care what caused the crisis. It could have been a medical bill. It could have been a job loss, a breakup, something else entirely different. It doesn't matter. The tools are the same. Shrinking the window that you need to focus on. Know what's fixed and what's flexible. Protect the income you currently have coming in before you go chasing more. Make the decision to move the small stuff out of the way on purpose until your starter goal is real. If you are on your own version of this right now, you don't need everything solved today. You just need the next few days mapped out. That will be enough for you to start. And if you want to follow along and see how I am rebuilding, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video. Thank you for being here.